Welcome to another episode of What's the Hype podcast.
The building. And an interception, and you're not down by 10 anymore. Andre Howe, his second interception.
To get you the information that you need to start your own business and do your own thing.
And I felt like it gave me a good perspective.
I was not the first person to go through what I went through.
Welcome to another episode to What's the Hype podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Pope, aka the Pod Disciple.
I'm your coach, Andre Howe.
Man, Dre, we at it again, man. I'm telling you, we've been knocking these things out the park. I think we've been having some amazing videos, some amazing episodes that's been so enlightening, so insightful. Just really going to be providing some good information for the audience, man. So I'm excited, man. The guy that we got on this episode, I know him pretty well. One of Bethune-Cookman University's most noted players of the decade, two-time all-conference performer, MEAC preseason player of the year 2011, top 10 linebacker by Sports News, preseason second team FCS All-American 2011, Mr. Pick Six is what they called him, former NFL and current Bethune-Cookman University assistant coach. With no further ado, we want to welcome to the podcast my guy, Ryan Lewis. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
Sir, appreciate you, man. Glad to have you. Appreciate you having me, I should say.
Listen, man, Ryan, our podcast, man, is really about just getting individuals on who've kind of experienced a lot of the different circumstances when you talk about sports, been able to ride the wave up to the top, man, and just kind of seen, a lot of the things that has happened. That, a lot of times it's all about hype. A lot of people love, sports and people that's been successful. But when you talk about the other side of it and making adjustments and battling through adversity, man, we like to share stories of individuals that have had that, their experiences, those different type of things. So, man, we're glad to have you on. But what we like to do is just start from the beginning, man. Just tell us a little bit about where you're from, what it was like for you growing up there.
Yes, sir. First off, appreciate y'all for having me on, man. A lot of people don't know I played with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't play together. I played with you. So you the big homie. I appreciate you having me on, and nice meeting you too, Dre.
For sure.
But, where you from, Dre?
I'm from Louisiana, from Port Allen, right there, Baton Rouge.
So it's all the same. I'm from Pompano Beach, Florida, down in South Florida, down in Broward County. Grew up 5 minutes away from Blanchile High School, where I went to high school. Played Little League in Pompano. I did pretty much everything in Pompano. Played Little League in Pompano, played high school football in Pompano, and went on to Daytona for college. But in Pompano Beach, just, Blanchile High School, historically is a great high school for South Florida in football. Grew up there. A lot of people just went to Ely. For me, I grew up at Ely. My uncle was the head coach at Ely when I was younger, so I always grew up at Ely. So I came through Ely when they had, Al Harris, Tyrone Carter, Corey Simons, those type of guys. And so that's a little bit about me.
So when did you first start playing sports, and who inspired you early on?
I've been playing sports for a while, since I was about 5 or 6, but I can remember vividly when I was younger, my oldest brother, I had an older cousin that's like 4 or 5 years older than me. I remember vividly him getting him ready to play sports, and just watching them even like show him how to put the pads in the pants, show him how to, when we play, it's still the same almost, but when you turn the pads inside out, you got to flip the pads inside out.
Yeah.
So watching him, like I remember this vividly, learning all that, watching him do him like that, and then remembering it was my time. And then it's been downhill ever since for me. I always was aggressive, but being able to sit down and talk like, hey, it's not just about being aggressive. You got to be able to take coaching. I got all that from my big brother.
Absolutely. So South Florida being legendary, you talk about sports, you talk about football. For me, it's the Mecca. You know what I mean? When you talk about New York and basketball, they say that's the Mecca. Mm-hmm. But South Florida football is the Mecca. And we start early, man. Some people don't understand the dynamics, even in Little League, where it's really an event. People who go to high school games on Friday night all comes out to Little League games on Saturday. It's the same feel. Like there's literally superstars at the Little League level. You know what I mean? Like legends.
Especially with social media now.
Oh man, it's a different ballpark. But as you mentioned, legendary Blanche Ely High School, man. Talk about your team and a little bit about the individual success and maybe some of the guys you played with at legendary Ely High School.
Well, being at Ely, it was probably the only time I wasn't really the best player on the team. Like I played with 4 guys, 2 of my best friends, 4 guys that got drafted into the NFL. Josh Moore, he got drafted to Chicago Bears. JT Thomas, one of my best friends, got drafted to Chicago Bears. Also, Patrick Peterson. Well, in high school, we called him Patrick Johnson. He changed his name to Patrick Peterson. Got drafted in the NFL, top 5 pick for the Arizona Cardinals. Will be a first ballot Hall of Famer once he retired. And it was one more, Jabari Price. He came behind us. I played with him also. So we had a rich we didn't have a lot of team success when I was there, but we had a lot of individual success. So I was able to play with those type of guys for sure.
Well, talk about your recruiting process and why you decided to attend Bethune-Cookman University.
So I remember, I think, did Coach Ross recruit you too?
Yeah.
I remember my junior year, I used to always go to Bethune-Cookman, Coach Wide, the Down and Dirty football camp. Used to always go there. It was one of the only full padded camps in Florida, along with the other one they had in Lakeland. So I used to go there every year growing up with the high school, with Ely. Had a good showcase at the camp, got an offer my junior year. But then I started getting other offers from bigger schools, but my grade situation where it wasn't needed to be, messed up in school, not going to school, not doing what I needed to do, which is, I'm glad. I'm not going to say I'm glad I did that, but it was part of the process and my maturation process to get me where I'm at now. So my junior year, they offered me, and then I came back. When he came back, he was recruiting a guy by the name of Ryan Cook from my high school, and I was a junior. Ryan Cook was a senior. And I was like, Coach Ross, what's up, man? I know you offered me as a junior. Like, what you going to do? He's like, man, you're going to be too big for us. I'm like, Coach, no, I'm not. I'm coming. Set me up a visit. But at the time, I just wanted to go to a black college, the vibes. You know what I mean? So I went on a visit, came up there on a visit. I was like, oh, yeah, I think this is the place for me. And plus, my mom, she went to FAMU. My cousin was already at FAMU. My auntie went to FAMU. My whole family went to FAMU, except for my mom's younger brother. He went to Bethune. So I was like, in my head, I was like, you know what? I think I want to go this way. Everybody went that way. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to stick over here with him and go this way. And I decided to go to Bethune-Cookman. It's the best decision I made in my life.
Man, absolutely. And I know you had some ties with HBCUs, and I wanted to kind of ask you, like, how did that play a role? As you mentioned, you named all family members that had real ties. And for me, it was different. I really didn't have, first of all, I was the first graduate in, my immediate family to go to college and graduate from college. But I knew about the Classic, but I ain't know a whole lot about Bethune prior to really coming there. But you had, like you mentioned, uncle, and you had family members that attended fam. Talk about like how that kind of affected you and the awareness you had of HBCUs early on.
Yeah, it affected me tremendously because those names that I mentioned were father figures to me. Like my uncle was a father figure to me, and then my other uncle, his brother actually was Coach. I didn't know this till I got Bethune. My uncle's brother was Coach White's roommate in college.
Wow!
So it was deeper than I thought. You know what I mean? So I was always rooted into it because my mentors were HBCU graduates. So it was just a no-brainer for me at that point, for sure.
What was the biggest adjustment for you coming from high school to college?
Not having your mom wake you up for school in the morning.
Facts.
You being on your own. You know what I mean? So the day they drop you off, you're considered a young adult. Nobody's gonna beg you to do anything. So my biggest thing was becoming, and I had guys like Pope too. They took like me being from Pompano. It wasn't a lot of people from Pompano that went to Bethune-Cookman. It was either like you from Miami or Jacksonville, and a little bit sprinkled in between. And guys like Pope from Miami took me in, and guys from Jacksonville like R. Key Smith, Dexter Jackson. Them guys took me in, so they kind of molded me to who I am today. You know what I mean? They played, they did all the same stuff I did, but they also went to class, graduated. So I saw that firsthand. On the road, my roommate was Dexter Jackson. He was one of the lead captains on the team, all MEAC defender, but he also went to class. So I saw it firsthand. I had my bumps and bruises that first semester. The school wrote, and that's another thing about HBCU. They're not just going to give up on you. You know, you're going to take your licks early. Now, they're not going to continue to allow you to take licks. But if you take your licks early, as far as with education, and they'll work with you. And that's what they did. They stuck with me, and it just molded me. I'm forever indebted to that university, for sure.
Man, as you mentioned, I was an upperclassman when you came in, and I remember just this young guy from Pompano who just came in and just was talking, right? You have freshmen come in, and Dre, and I'm sure you've seen in that Vandy, and just kind of how it is, freshmen kind of come in and find their way. But this young guy just came in, and he was in your face, loud, and he was like, a part of like the the show defense, what they, the defense that would go against the ones on defense during the season. So us seniors and leaders, upperclassmen, this young guy is giving us a look out there. He out there trying to make plays and practice, right? And I knew early on, like, man, this guy got something to him. And it was, early on, and he wasn't afraid of the spotlight at all. And naturally, as he mentioned, man, like some of the upperclassmen guys, we respected him and brought him in. And he, went on to do his thing. So, Ryan, just talk about, your success ultimately once you guys kind of got that thing going. Talk about your success and team success, during your time there.
Right, and you pretty much painted it, because for me, as a freshman, I felt like I should have been playing. I ain't had a body, I ain't had none of that, but in my mind, I should have been playing. Like, I got seniors that's been all me at Travis Rowland and in front of me. I'm like, man, I should be playing. I don't want to hear it. I'm crying after every game, feeling like I should be playing. But it wasn't that I was being selfish, it's just the mentality that I had. Mm-hmm. And looking back on it, because hindsight's 20/20, it kind of made me who I am, because wanting that, knowing what the work it take to put in to be where you wanted to be, because them guys worked. They didn't get plugged in. They worked. So I knew, okay, what's gonna stop me? Because after every game I cried. As a freshman, I should be playing. We 8-3. I should be playing. I don't care. I should be playing. So I cried after every game, like I should be playing. It's funny now, but it was like it did a lot to me, because it's like, okay, what's gonna stop me from this crime? I gotta work. When my opportunity come, I gotta take advantage of it. And I remember being a freshman, and it's like you get called up from the bullpen, because we down there with the offensive scouts, and the first team defense is on the other end. I know we're not about to start, but Coach Wide is calling us down there to see what we got. He called me and Reggie, like, y'all come on down. I remember Big Podium, like, okay, they on their way down here. And then it's just been lights out ever since. We've been down here ever since. We worked, we did what we needed to do. We competed with each other, and that was made us better. Me and Reggie, we competed. Like, when I saw him do something good, I was like, okay, he getting too much shine, so it's my time to go. And then he'll do the same thing, and next thing you know, it just created a friendship, and then it was healthy. And us from South Florida, we guys, like, especially now recruiting and being a coach, guys from South Florida are the guys that mold your team here in Florida. Like, we take South Florida and take it wherever we are. So if we in Daytona, South Florida is going to be in Daytona. People going to sound like us. They're going to talk like us. Eventually, they're going to start dressing like us. Mm-hmm. So we use that positive with our team, and it festered when we transitioned from coaches, because the team didn't really change. We added some other things, but when we changed from one coach to the next coach, we already had our team. We just needed a different guy driving the vehicle, which what happened for us. And we already had our team because the work we put in previous. And then summers. We started getting summer school. When we got summer school, it was a whole nother ballgame, because now you build a team. We here together, not just from fall and spring. We staying after spring and here all summer, and we working together as men and creating that camaraderie and building a team.
It's interesting you say that, because the first summer that we had was that summer when we was 8-3, and that built a lot of the success we had that year, and just chemistry, as you mentioned. But when you talk about the success y'all had, again, because all of y'all was on a team when I was there. A lot of y'all was my teammates. So as you mentioned, a different, coach at the time took y'all to another level, but it was with the same players. So whether it be Gene Fenor, R.Key Smith, Mike London, Ryan Davis, Reggie, Mike Williams, all these guys were on the team. And you talking about talent, Dre. I mean, they was running through conference. I mean, they were playing against D1 schools and beating FIU and being competitive against the University of Miami. I mean, it was almost like he was crying his freshman year. I was probably crying watching them, like, these guys are, competing at the level that I only wish we had the opportunity to. And then to see it, as I mentioned, the same guys that I was able to play with, to have so much success. As you mentioned, that chemistry, but the amount of talent, man, and just the success y'all had, man. How did that feel, being able to just win MEAC championships, play on TV, just getting so much attention, man? How was that?
Oh, it was amazing, bro, and then it felt like you would thought we did it already. The way we acted, like we did it already. But you got to understand, the guys like we recruited were champions coming out of high school. Yeah. Like, I didn't win a championship out of high school, but the way I talked, you thought we would have won a championship. Right. We got guys from Northwestern that won back-to-back championships. The kids from Jacksonville, they won championships. So we had a lot of winners. And recruiting winners can cover a lot of things, bro. And then I just don't know, bro. I think we just got lucky, man, because we had so much talent. Like, our key wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
Gene wasn't supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Reggie, we wasn't supposed to be there, but we were there and we took advantage of our situation. We worked and we just moved it forward to where it's at now, bro. And it was just amazing run. It was a blur almost, bro. It's a blur. Because we have coaches on our staff now. That was my coach then. They don't remember nothing about it.
Wow.
Because it was a blur. It was a blur. Like, we ran off 10 straight.
Yeah.
Didn't play in the second half until the classic.
That's
you know
crazy.
I mean? And South Carolina State. South Carolina State and the classic was the only game that we played in the second half.
Wow.
Everything else was a blowout. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it was amazing, bro. It was a run that was unprecedented. It was unprecedented for sure.
Man, that's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you realize you could possibly make it to the NFL?
Well, that's a great question. The point I thought I could possibly make it to the NFL was actually at a workout. It was at a workout when I worked out for the Dolphins. They had this little junior day. I mean, not junior day. They had I think it was a local day workout for the pros that's locally that they have. And then the next one, they made me work out by myself. But when I work out locally, in my draft class, it was me, like linebackers that was there. It was me, Levante David, all-pro, who's going to be a Hall of Famer when he retired. And Iman Lemire, he played at Kansas State and played in the league with the Raiders and the Bengals. If y'all are familiar with him from out of Boca. And I think Reggie. So when I worked out with them, I knew I could play them because if I'm working out, we knew Levante was going to be a first-day pick. To see him move around, how he moved around, and me be able to compete with that, I knew then. And also I knew at the All-Star game, I'm getting ahead of myself with these questions. I already know, you know what I mean? But at the All-Star game, I also knew too, because we played in this All-Star game called the Battle of Florida. It was right there in Boca. We only had 1 year of it. I wish these kids could have that. We had every NFL scout, every GM, and like 3 or 4 head coaches came to that week. It was every guy. We had Florida State, Florida, USC, South Florida. Like, it was a battle of North Florida versus South Florida, right at FAU. So going out there, like, before you even line up, the first thing I'm doing is say, okay, he got a Florida helmet on. He got a Florida State helmet on. He got a Michigan helmet on. Okay, I need to go out here. And going at those guys and knowing that I can compete with them, that's when I knew, okay, I might can play this game. I might can play this game on the next level for sure.
That's that dog, man. You had that dog in you. And we had your former teammate on, Ryan Davis, and he said that you were the Ryan that everybody knew, right? Because he, again, position change. He, had to really develop into that. You've been playing that position, and so ultimately you took that lead as the leader. You know what I'm saying? And you lived up to that building. But he talked about you being the name that everybody knew, the Ryan that everybody knew. And because of all the big plays you made throughout your career. So even like, they call you Mr. Pick Six. It was like almost every time I was watching the game, you was taking one back. And that didn't change because you used to do that to us in practice. And we used to be mad. Like, where the play going, why are you intercepting the ball? Like, let's just talk about your mentality and just, your level of understanding the game that helped you make a lot of those big plays and have so much success.
Yeah, for me, it started off the field in the summers working out. See, I was always a linebacker, but my best friend in high school, which is Patrick, he was a DB. So I always worked out with DBs. And I tell linebackers to this day, work out as a DB. Go through the ladders, do your cone drills, work out as a DB for sure. But I played baseball growing up too. And one of my coaches brought this to my attention like years later, like hand-eye coordination. I was a catcher. I was a better baseball player than I was a football player, believe it or not.
Wow.
My mom and my uncle to this day get mad at me because I wanted to play football. And if I was going to play football, I'm going to Ely. I'm not going to Terravella. I'm not going to Stoneman Douglas. I'm going to Ely. You know what I mean? So going to Ely, you're not going to really play baseball. I played baseball for 1 year. When I got out there, the head football coach was the baseball coach. I was like, it's not going to work. I'm used to traveling the United States to play baseball. I played AAU baseball. I played in New York, North Carolina, all over the world. So I'm used to real baseball. So when I saw the coach out there coaching baseball, it wasn't going to work. But playing baseball, hand-eye coordination, took me to another level. And also film. Film. Coach Lip taught me how to play with my eyes. And then my second defensive coordinator, Coach Yogi Jones, he taught me how to watch film. So once I learned the film game, before I even got on the game, I already knew what was going to happen. Like when we first got there, we watched film, but we didn't have the analytics. But when the second staff came in, they brought analytics with them. So now you know on third down, this is what they're going to. Like, you know this is what they're going. So I used to sit down with my defensive back coach. I was a linebacker, but I go sit down with the defensive back coach because I know he's doing the pass routes. He's the coach watching all the passes. So I say, Coach, what they doing this week? Hey, around this time in the middle of the field, you need to be here in the middle of the field. I got you. So I do that type of stuff. I was a student of the game, and it helped me a lot for sure. And then I had him up front. You know what I mean? We ain't going to forget about that. I had Ryan Davis up front. So he's coming around that corner, along with Eric Williams and Mike Londons and Jamil Farrington. So with them coming up front, it's a lot more easier. It's a lot more easy because you're not going to be able to get set with that guy coming around that corner for sure.
I like you highlighted, man, about just again the film, and Dre can talk about this because Dre had, pretty much the same approach at the NFL level. Like, that's what really separate guys who have a lot of success is you ain't out there just playing on talent no more at the high level or at the NFL level. It's about being able to study. Dre, talk about kind of like how that kind of separated you and allowed you, by you knowing as much as you did about the defense, that helped lead to your success you had.
Yeah, man. I was 7th-round pick, so they didn't expect me to play anyway. So I came in like they didn't expect me to be good. So I came in. I had to make sure I studied all the time, make sure I knew everything. I knew everything was going. So I just made sure I was ahead with the film study and like the plays and stuff like that. So I could get on the field because I was 7th-round pick. They were expecting me to be good. So I had to go in put myself ahead some kind of way. So
put yourself ahead for sure.
Exactly. So I did that by studying more and like being a student of the game, and that got on the field more.
Right, I didn't understand it my freshman year, but it really is 90% mental, 90% mental, and then for me it's 10% angles after that, 10% angles. You know, you don't have to be the fastest guy, but if you take those right angles, you're fine. And people thought I was blazing. I wasn't really fast. I wasn't fast at all. I just took the right angles. I knew, okay, he stepped this way. I'm gonna take mine to that guard, and that guard gonna tell me everything I need to know. If he block, if I see the center's butt, okay, it's a pull. Somebody coming back. If he stay front side, I know the ball. You know, linemen don't lie to you. Backs lie to you. So I just like small stuff like that just helped me be so much better. Once I knew it was about the film room, it was over. It was over after that.
Game changer.
For sure. How was the pre-draft process for you? In the All-Star games, where do you think you might end up?
Pre-draft process. I think my pre-draft process was amazing. You know what I mean? The reason why I say it was amazing, it was a gift and a curse. And I'm going to be honest. It was a gift and a curse. Like I said, my junior year, and I had a lot of motivation my junior year because, my best friend went top 5. And then my other best friend went in that same draft. He went in the 5th round, and he played linebacker. So I'm there for all that. Like, all of it, the good, the bad, and the not supposed to be talked about. I was there for all of it, so I know what it looked like, and I'm getting some of the residuals from it too. You know what I mean? So I'm not being treated like a regular player. I'm getting different type of treatment, so I know how it is. So when it came for me, I just balled. I did what I needed to do. When it came to my process, I didn't want to expect nothing less. So I got the same type of treatment. Went and trained down south in Boca Raton at Lynn University. Signed with a major agent. Me and Pat, actually, we had the same agent. We signed with the same agent. Worked out every day, stayed down there in Boca. And then we also had the All-Star game that I talked about a little bit earlier in Boca. Played in that one. Did great. Actually got hurt in it during the game, but it was, with All-Star games, it's more about how you do in practice or whatnot. Sprained my ankle in the All-Star game. And then the draft process. And then you said draft day? You asked about draft day. And then draft day, I knew I wasn't going to go in the first 3-4 rounds, but that last day, I kept getting all these different calls. Knowing now, what I know now, I know why they was calling, just to have your information for free agent purposes. But I was getting all these different calls from all these different teams, Buffalo, Vikings, the teams I ain't even heard from. Hey, is this your number? Can we reach you at this? Right? I'm just sitting there like, damn, they keep calling me. So that was a little highs and the lows of it, and then end up signing with the Dolphins, right? I signed with the Dolphins. Jeff Ireland was the GM. He brought me in. I worked out at the junior day. I worked out at the I guess they call it the city day or the county day, the local day, I should say. Worked out at the local day at linebacker, and then he brought me back at the end of the workout and worked me out at fullback / H-back. So I'm like, H-back, fullback. But I ain't gonna say nothing. It's football. Like, you telling me you're gonna take me on the next level to play football, so I'm gonna do whatever you tell me to do. So I'm out there running routes, coming in motion, 3-point stance, things I never did before. But the thing is, I'm catching the ball. I might not be running the route right, but I'm catching the ball. And I realized, like, you know, hindsight's 2020. They're doing all that because I had like 400 yards of interception return yardage. And this is the year where they're turning all these different positions into H-backs. I think they did it with the guy from West Virginia. They did it with another few other guys. So I'm not saying that my hands are actually playing me away from where I really want to play, but it wasn't an issue because it's the NFL. They gave me a shot. They brought me in. The Dolphins brought me in for rookie camp. Stayed down there. Was there with Lamar Miller. He was a big help for me. He took me on his wing, taught me everything. And I use a lot of the stuff that I learned from the Dolphins on offense in my process as a coach now. It was a great experience to be down there for sure.
So as you mentioned, being drafted by, being unsigned free agents to sign with the Dolphins. What was that like to kind of, hometown team, and what was that like? Were you even a fan of the Dolphins early on?
No. When I first got the call, it was amazing because, like, the first thing I thought about was my granddad. He's the biggest Dolphins fan in the world. You know what I mean? God bless his soul. I feel like the Dolphins low-key had something to do with him passing because they just stressing him out. They was just stressing. You know how the Dolphins is, man.
Yes, sir.
They stress you out. So I blame the Dolphins for that. But it was exciting. I was a Dallas Cowboy fan growing up, but at that point, it was about business. I just had my son. I was like, man, home. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to stay at home at my mom's crib till I get right. I had all that planned out. I'm going to stay at my mom's crib till I get right. And it was going to be exciting. I was treating like I was the hometown kid. It was very exciting, bro. I appreciate the Dolphins, though, for sure, bringing me in.
So after your stellar career at linebacker in college, the Dolphins signed you to play fullback. Can you talk about what that was like for you?
Bro, it was an experience because that's the year they signed Tannehill. They had a new head coach, Joe Philpins, and they brought in the OC, which is Tannehill's college coach, Mike Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing football. I've been playing defense my whole entire life. And with defense, it's one call. And then I get to the Dolphins. They moved me to first. I can tell you this quick story. When I got to the locker room, I already knew I was playing fullback. But when I got in the locker room, in my locker, they had a 52 white jersey, which was defense at the time. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sneak this on. And then the running back coach came by. I think his name was Coach Nixon, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Coach Nixon. He's like, nah, that's the wrong jersey, champ. He was like, that's the wrong jersey. He was like, get that teal. Like, no worries, but I was gonna try that first. So, man, I was gonna try to sneak over there, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stay. But man, that first meeting, bro, I kid you not, bro. Plays was like 2-3 sentences for one play. It was the West Coast.
2-3 sentences.
Like 2-3 sentences. I did not understand. I was like, whoa, this is different. That's why I say Lamar was a big part for me. He did a lot for me. He helped me. We still friends to this day because of that. But it was like, man, it was a lot, bro. I'm like, man, but I was smart, and then like I referred to earlier, the NFL helped me with. What they would do was, in the NFL, they give you the whole practice in rookie camp. They give you the whole practice the day before. So every play that we're gonna run it inside,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna have it. Every play you're gonna run it 7-on-7, we're gonna have the whole script. Like, we didn't do that in college. So I was like, oh, okay, so I can just need to practice what we gonna do. You know what I mean? And then I just knew I was gonna make the team because it was two fullbacks. It was me and another kid, and he failed the physical. So when you fail the physical, you get cut. So I'm the only one taking reps. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting all the reps. I'm catching all my balls. I'm catching all my blocks. I think they signed. OV was the top pick that year. No, Ryan was the top pick. OV was the second pick. So I'm doing what I got to do, dealing with him, which was a lot. Pass blocking, pass pro. I'm coming out of motion. They lining me up at receiver, coming back in motion. It's a lot going on, bro.
You got to clarify OV. Is that Olivier Vernon? You got to clarify.
Olivier Vernon. I think he was the second pick that year.
Yeah.
I think he was the second pick that year. So I'm dealing with all these dogs in front of me, and this is my first time being on this side of the ball. You know what I mean? Defense, just being aggressive will get you half the battle. But on offense, you got to know them angles. You know, if you coming down on backside and the protection front side, you got to cut him off. You just can't come down. All that different, football talk. But man, it was a great experience, bro. It set me up for where I'm at now because of the work they put in for us to have that type of information. You know what I mean? Like the whole practice the day before.
For sure. Like the attitude that you have, like I didn't even know that was your experience because, and I've seen it at the pro level, sometimes when guys are not open to position change or, you know what I mean? Like they kind of, even special teams, the guys are like, man, I'm not here for that. And it really kind of, pigeonhole them or pretty much get them out of the building, so to say.
Man.
So like to know that you had that mentality, like, man, whatever y'all want, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Just for the opportunity, man. That's a lesson in itself.
For sure. And I'm glad you said special teams, because that's part of the reason why I believe I got cut. I know why I got cut, because of special teams. I couldn't play them. Well, I ain't gonna say I couldn't play them. I never played them. When we was in school, we had no depth. Like at our school, the ones are the ones. As soon as the ones come out, it's threes behind you. So you're not able to play all those different special teams. And when I got there, like kick slide, I'm like, whoa, kick slide. I couldn't even kick slide, bro. I can do it, but it was just new to me. You know what I mean? Like all them different type of stuff, like, and it's that serious. Special teams is that serious, and now being a special teams coordinator, bro, I take it that serious, and I tell people like to play special teams. I put our stars on special teams. They don't even like it, but if you talking about you want to play in the NFL, when you go to the league, you're gonna appreciate me when you come back, because you're gonna know how to play special teams. For sure.
Man, that's almost been the recurring statement that I've had with a lot of guys that make it to the pros, and we talk about it on our podcast. Special teams is the differentiator. Like it really separates guys when you don't, you're not a first round pick, second round pick, high pick. Special teams is what separates. I literally seen guys. We had a guy named Chris Thompson from the University of Florida, speedy, fast guy. He didn't get.
I think he went to Florida State, right?
No, not that. That's the guy. That's the running back. But this was a receiver at the University of Florida, and he didn't get no reps on offense, like no catches, no nothing. But he made the team. He was practice squad, then got bumped up to team for special teams. Like no offensive reps on offense, like none. You know what I mean? Like, but special teams is what really allows guys to go on to have great careers. We can even talk about one of our fellow alumni, Eric Weems. He played 11 years in NFL on special teams. And just like you said, he ain't played a lot of special teams his career, because we know Coach Wyatt, who we play for and we love, he ain't really put his starters and those guys out there on special teams. So when he played it at his last year, he got kind of familiar with it. But he said the conversation that he had with Joe Horn told him, listen, you need to focus on special teams. You know what I mean? And that's going to build your ability to be able to do more and allow you to stay around. So special teams is that serious.
It's that serious, bro. It's that serious. And bringing up Weems and every team he was on, bro, he probably had the best hands on the team. And everybody said it. But once he started playing special teams, bro, like that, it locked him in, bro. He got 11 years in the league and all pros and pro bowls and all that stuff, bro. And that's a good example, bro, for sure. Eric Weems, bro. You're right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So things didn't go as planned on the pro level, as you mentioned, but can you talk about what was next for you and what that process was like, once you realizing, hey, this may not be, I may not, excel or have the success I wanted to have on the pro level.
Right. So for me, I didn't dwell. I just used, and I was smart enough. A lot of people, and that's something I want to get into once I stop coaching. A lot of people didn't have a backup plan. You know what I mean? A lot of people dwell in it when things don't go the way you want it to go, because you go from playing college. Just imagine you go from playing college football, and it's for the guys that don't even get the opportunity. You go from people giving you your schedule, telling you need to go eat, do this, and then after that last game, you don't even hear from them people, especially if you already graduated. You know what I mean? And we're different here now. We don't do those type of things. But for me, it was like I used what I learned in football. Sudden change. You know what I mean? I had to figure out what I wanted to do, and I was like, well, I want to be around football, so what can I do? I was like, well, my defensive coordinator, well, he's still the defensive coordinator here, but when I was playing at the time was Coach Jones. And he used to always tell me, you're going to be a coach. You're going to be a coach. You're going to be a coach. I was like, Coach, I ain't going to be no coach, man. I can't deal with me. You know what I mean? Like, being in your position, I want to be able to deal with me. So I know I ain't going to be no coach. He's like, you're going to be a coach. You're going to be a coach. And then looking back at it, growing up, my uncle was a coach. I always was at the games. You know what I mean? Coaches always telling me I was a coach. Coaching on the field, being a leader, that's coaching on the field. You know what I mean? Being accountable is coaching, essentially, teaching and all that good stuff. So I went to the next year. I graduated, came back to school. I was on campus and graduated. And I went to their pro day. And he pulled me to the side. He was like, remember I told you you're going to coach? I was like, you did tell me. And I was like, Coach, I don't know about that. He said, well, if you're serious about it, come see me. And I thought about it. I was like, man, you tripping. Like, you told yourself you'll do anything to be around football. I sweep the floors just to be around football. And you got this opportunity in front of you to be a grad assistant and get your master's where you already went to school at, and and they're going to pay you. Then you go in there. So I went in there the next day, and I ain't left since. I worked. I was there for the spring. I did everything he asked me to do for free. Then wasn't in school, just did it just to show him that I wanted to do it. He spent time with me, worked through me through the summer, like actually gave me all his stuff, broke it down to me, and just I got lucky. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have that. You know what I mean? I got lucky. He gave me everything that made me successful to this day. He gave it to me. He didn't have to. He gave it to me, and I took it and I applied it, and it got me here today. And then the next year, and it's more about relationships. So when you get into that coaching, it's a lot of relationships. So I met a coach by the name of Greg Ruffin that they brought in to Bethune-Cookman. He actually rented my apartment when he came in. When I left as a grad assistant, because I came home, taught at Ely for a year after I was finished grad school, I came home, taught at Ely for a year. He stayed in my apartment in Daytona. And I was like, my mom used to tell me, why you still have that apartment? You need to get rid of that apartment. I was like, no, I ain't getting rid of it. You know what I mean? I had a plan. So I moved one of the coaches in there. He got the job. He used to always tell me, why you not coaching? Why you not coaching? I was like, I had to come home, man, be around my son and do that type of stuff. He's like, man, when I get a job, I'm going to hire you. He's like, when I get a job, I'm going to hire you. I was like, you going to hire me? He's like, yeah, I'm going to hire you. And then he called me in 6 months. He got the head job at Edward Waters. I'm thinking he calling me to be a position coach or whatnot. He said, I want you to be my defensive coordinator. He's like, you ready? I was like, yeah, I stay ready, coach. So I'm in my class doing my playbook. You know what I mean? I got my old playbook from Bethune, but I'm changing over to Edward Waters. I'm in my class doing my playbook. You know, I'm doing my research. Then Coach Wyatt was at Edward Waters. Yeah. So he took over for Coach Wyatt doing research. They went like, you know, they ain't won a game in like 2 years. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the perfect job. You know what I mean? So we came in, we won 5 games our first year. We went from being ranked the 93rd defense in the nation to the 27th defense in the nation. Wow. I was like, oh, yeah, this is the one for me. So I went there for a year. And then the special teams coordinator linebacker job came over back at Bethune-Cookman. And before I could call Coach Sims to ask him about the job, he was already calling me. He's like, what's up, man? Why? I know you about to call me. And he called me first. I'm like, man, how you know I was going to call you? He's like, because you called me about that job. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So the thing is, though, I interviewed. And I'm going to be honest, I was pissed off. I was pissed off that they made me interview. You know what I mean? I was pissed off because I was like, man, I just did the interview for 2 years here. You know what I mean? I went off and played, but looking back at it, and then my mom and my significant other was telling me, well, you want to interview because you don't want nobody to give you nothing. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, you interview for it, you earned it. Right. So when I interviewed for Coach Jones, which is kind of funny because he asked me questions. I'm reciting things back that he taught me. Wow. You know what I mean? So I know it's kind of refreshing for him. And then it was all she wrote. And it's been down here ever since. Just going on my third year, second season because of COVID. And I can't complain, man. I'm blessed. Man, sure.
you definitely touched a couple different things in terms of, you know, a little bit of luck in there, but it's preparation at the same time, right? Sure. You talk about coming from not coaching in terms of being at Ely or not in the college level to being defensive coordinator. You might have been probably the youngest defensive coordinator in the country, probably. Right?
Yeah, I was 26. Wow, for sure. I was 26.
I don't care if you're a defensive coordinator at a junior college, whatever. I mean, that's, you know, right, that's young men. That's respect in itself, bro. Like to be a defensive coordinator, your first real full-time job to come in and do it at Edward Waters again, a program you got to build.
Job, bro. It was my real first-time job.
You know what I'm saying? That's a program that they're not dealing with talent that's at Alabama or Florida. You had to really build that, man. And so that's just preparation. But another thing you highlighted is relationships. And that's something that I learned at the NFL level. Bro, it's all about relationships.
All about relationships, bro. Like, anybody who knows football, you can learn that in the book. Literally, you can go buy books and learn that. But if you don't know nobody, coach yourself, champ.
Waste of time. Like it's literally all about relationship. We had last season Terry Braden on, who's a former assistant at Cookman, who's now at the Kansas City Chiefs. But he talked about just having an opportunity to meet people. Eric, Emmett Thomas, the legendary coach for Kansas City, that just took a liking to him. And I remember being introduced to Terry at the Combine, and I'm talking to Emmett. I love talking to older vet players and coaches because they got so much wisdom. So I'm sitting there talking with him, and he was like, what school did you go to? And I told him Bethune-Cookman. He said, man, we just hired a guy who was coaching down there. And he introduced me to Terry, and me and Terry been locked in ever since. But just having the opportunity to meet somebody that can go to the table and say, I want this guy, and build relationships, that's game changing. Then he got close with Spagnola, who came to Kansas City, and now he's a position coach. Now he's coaching defensive line.
Did you tell you how he got that relationship? Did he tell the story on
going to work at the Pro Bowl. Yeah,
at the Pro Bowl. Coach Sim sent him to the pro. They asked him, did we have anybody that wanted to work at the Provo? Andy Reid and them boys loved him, bro, and it's been down here ever since.
Man, it's
So
just
all
that
about
easy,
relationship, bro. Just that easy, bro.
Just that easy.
And we don't want to say easy either, because like you said, it's a lot of preparation into it. Because you prepare and you be prepared, and you'll tell yourself like, man, I got it by luck, but not even knowing that you put a lot into it.
Facts.
You put a lot into it, and it's the world giving back what you gave. The work you put in is coming back out for fruition. But it looks like luck to the naked eye. It looks like luck. That wasn't luck for Terry, because Terry did a lot of work. He put in a lot of grind, bro, especially for us as a university. He put in a lot of work for us, bro.
Facts,
and
for
now
sure.
I see him on Sunday. I have a relationship with Terry too. See him on Sunday Night Football, coaching his tail off.
Absolutely. So proud of that. But since you had the opportunity to make it to the highest level, as we mentioned, what advice would you give players? And I know, some of the stuff that you already putting in your coaching, as you said, to players about special teams. But what do you kind of share with them about what it takes to make it at that level, or even about being prepared if it doesn't even work, if it doesn't work out?
Right. So to make it on that level, it's a pro effort. You gotta have that pro effort. And Dre will tell you about that. Like,
yeah, definitely.
These are, once you be 21 years old and you get out there with 30, 35-year-old men that are taking care of families. So you gotta have that pro effort. Now they don't have time for you to come in here talking about, oh, I'm 21. Because that 21-year-old get out there and make the wrong mistake. Now we all don't have a job. Now my kids, don't have their dad working or whatnot. And always have a plan B. Always have a plan B. Go and not even a plan B. I won't even call it another plan, because when we was growing up, they would tell you, okay, you're a football player. Only thing you need to be focused on is football. No. Like even in the pros, they'll tell you that. But no, not even, like guys doing their own thing with podcasts, TV show, like Brandon Marshall. He was still playing football and doing Sunday Night Football when he was with the Jets. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. You need to be focused. But you'll see head coaches in commercials. You know what I mean? So I tell people, just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Stay ready. Be prepared. Have no excuses. And whatever you're doing, be on time for sure. Because time, and not just like the clock time, like time, like when you're there, be locked in.
Right.
You got this thing I like to use called being laser focused. You know what I mean? When you're using that, because all that stuff you can get back. If I stop stretching, I can get tight. I start back stretching, I'm gonna loosen back up. But I ain't gonna get time back. You don't get time back. So you got to take advantage of your time, bro, and be laser focused with your time and appreciate your time, because it's a lot of people would be, I don't care what level you're on as football, it's a lot of people would do anything to be in your shoes. You know what I mean? Take advantage of that time. Like, be there, be present, be where your feet are.
Absolutely. Facts. And I mean, you hit so many dope points. But before we let Dre close it out with his last question, talk about, just quick question, talk about what Deion has done for the HBCUs and what that looked like in terms of from a recruiting level now, because you got 5- and 4-star guys going to Jackson State and to all these different schools now to be able to just even try to compete. But just talk about the light that's on HBCUs and kind of the motivation and how you guys are trying to attack it to be able to compete.
I think Deion's helped putting us over. He's kicking the door down. Essentially, he's helping us get through that door. We always have Hall of Famers. Like if you look back at Jackson State, they got 4 or 5 Hall of Famers from back in the days. But it's crazy. I got to say, you got to look back. But when you get a guy like Deion, a man like Deion, a character like Deion, I should say, and not the man, like the name, the brand, prime time. You can't do nothing but watch.
Yeah,
you can't do nothing but watch. So we have to be, us as coaches and players on our level, we have to be prepared for that and know that and be ready for that. You know what I mean? Because they're going to watch. And we already know we have always had a great brand of football, not a whole world scene.
Yes.
Like what Jackson State is doing is kind of, it rivals what we did. Because my junior year, we started off 10-0. That next year, we played every game on ESPN. Every game was on ESPN, on TV. Now with Deion coming in, every game is going to be on TV. Everybody's watching. Like I heard him say something about, like, why we played on ESPN, why haven't we seen any highlights? You know what I mean? Which is true. But if I was to come out and say that, you would never hear that.
Right.
But you get a guy like Deion to say it with his name in the media, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's a darn good football coach. It shines light on it. You know what I mean? It's a great thing for us. A lot of people don't like it. I love it. I love it because he's putting a lot of lights on guys, on kids that wouldn't have. They wouldn't have those lights if a guy like him wasn't here. Now, we've been coaching football, but as far as getting that notoriety, he's doing a great job for us for sure.
I think it's a new day, and I don't think it's going to return. I think it's going to continue to inspire, and I think that's the new strategy of just bringing more opportunity and exposure. And a lot of things that I talk about a lot too. Some of the guys that I talk to or have great relationships with at the pro level, they talk about football, but they have no idea about the experience of HBCU. Like the culture is different. You know what I'm saying? So for people to experience, and I remember I was watching something with Dion, the little stuff that he had. His son, who played at South Carolina in the offensive lineman, he had transferred from UCF, came into his office on the first day of school and told him, "Oh yeah, this is different. This is different." You know what I mean? Like they've been at the PWI, they seen that environment. HBCU is a whole different environment.
And we used to have those guys that come through and had those same type of experiences. You know what I mean? Especially them boys that came from Rutgers and South Florida.
Right.
Like it's different. It's different. And plus, it's gonna help you for when everything get cut off.
Yes.
Because at HBCU, you got to do a lot of stuff for yourself. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people gonna look after you for sure, but you're not being coddled.
Right.
You're not gonna be coddled. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be coddled, which is a good thing on the back end. You know what I mean? You're gonna have some responsibility skills, which when you leave for sure. But it's a great experience though, especially on that beach. So if you're watching, come on down to the beach. You're a mile away from the beach.
Dre, it's beautiful, man. I got to get you down there, bro.
Man. Dre, did you? My bad for cutting you off. Did you play with Myron Roll at Vandy?
Myron Roll, that's my boy. Yeah.
Okay,
no, I ain't play with him. He a year ahead of me. He was senior when he graduated when I became a freshman.
Okay, yeah, he from Pompano for sure.
Yeah, that's my boy. He just got married too. I went to his wedding.
He did. He one of them big corners.
Yeah, big old corner. He he tall as hell.
6'2", like Coach Williams, you say big cone.
Big old corner.
You gotta take the R out.
So what's your future aspiration in coaching?
Well, obviously, I want to be a head coach, but not just to be a head coach. I just want to be able to, I've been, being a leader of young men is just something special. Like, I can just remember when I came in, not even me, I could talk about my kids, like guys coming in as freshmen and leaving as seniors and being two different totally people. That's a product. You know what I mean? That's a process of seeing it grow. And I always love to start things from the bottom and watch them grow. And to be at the helm of that and taking on that new challenge will be a blessing in itself. And if it doesn't happen, I'll be fine too. But to be a head coach for sure will be something special for me. I aspire to do for sure.
Absolutely. Well, bro, I appreciate your time, man. I know, again, you're in the rigors of coaching, recruiting, all these other things that you got going, but you always been my young guy that, had much respect for.
For sure, bro. I had to stop what I was doing to get on this, bro, for sure.
For sure.
Appreciate it, man.
People got to understand, just because you get to a certain spot, like, you still have big homies. You know what I mean? You still got big homies, and you got to be there for them, for sure.
And I appreciate that.
You were there for me, bro. You were there for me.
Appreciate it, my brother. So again, man, this here, again, you share so much great insight, so much tips and tools that we can share, because that's what it's really about, these young guys getting this information. So, man, we appreciate you, man. I know that you are well on your way in your coaching career, man. The sky's really the limit, man. Being at the right place at the right time and being prepared is going to take you to the next level. So again, man, I appreciate it. Dre, you got anything else for him?
Man, thank you, bro. My first time meeting you, man. You're a great guy, man. I appreciate y'all coming on the show and talking to us, bro. I really appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate y'all, man. What is season 3 right here?
Season 3, my brother.
Yes, sir. Let's keep it going, man. I've been watching for sure, man. Let's keep it going, man. It's great stuff y'all got going. Man, it's gonna pop for sure. Yeah.
We got a lot of great surprises on this season, man. It's almost like a Bethune-Cookman reunion. I got all my guys showing up for me. That's doing big things. So, man, again, appreciate you, man. We're gonna let you do what you do. And until I haven't been back to homecoming yet, but man, I'll be there at some point. Check y'all out, man. I definitely gonna continue to support.
I see you got the same number.
Yes, sir.
The same number. So just hit me. I got you. You're in the family for sure.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Get at me, folks.